Welcome MTO family, welcome back to the MTO channel, and I'm really excited for today as we will be finally unveiling the new refreshed website for the merchant token project. So without further ado, let's just jump straight away into that. So the first thing that you can notice here is that we have changed everything. So as you can see here, it's a lot more animated, a lot more refreshed, new, and most importantly, it is quite impactful. That's what we wanted to basically get across into these into the website, basically. So the logo is still the same, it's not going to change, it is amazing, we love it. So we feel that actually that's going to stay. Same as the only thing basically that has changed a bit is the colors, as you can see here as well. So let's just go into the content of the website, which I feel is the most important thing that we should focus on, of course. I just want to kind of like clarify as well that this is a refresher. There is a lot new information in here that was not in the previous website. However, there is a lot more information coming in the next few weeks, and we will be constantly updating it as well. We will also have a blog size, kind of like a blog theme where we will be actually sharing like news and information so that all the news and the information about the project will be there as well. I will make it easier for you to find out and as well and share it and get more information about the project. So as you can see here, the white paper, which I'm assuming you have seen it before, the security assessment from Certic, so I'm not going to get into those details. If you click here on developers, you can go and actually have a look into GitHub, which is already there. The use case of MTO, we will actually go and have a look into that later on. We are not going to go into deep dive into every single one of them. I will leave that for you, but you will actually be able where to buy, where to sell. Stake, I'm just going to jump in there before you guys go crazy. There is no stake at the moment for MTO. However, there will be once the project is fully launched and decentralized, even though we are currently working on the possible legal issues that could arise by staking and see if there is any workaround on that sense. Other thing here that you have is vote with MTO. We are referring here when MTO launches. So, but that kind of like give an idea of where we are headed. That MTO will eventually be a DAO. Earn with MTO, again, information on how you can earn with MTO once the project is fully launched. Pay with MTO and protect with MTO, which again are the core systems or the core basis of MTO as well. Learn, you have a lot of knowledge here that we have put, and again we will be adding, we will keep adding continuously. So as you can see here, there is a massive library here of information that you can go and read. We have a really nice example that we really advise you to go and read. This one, it actually kind of like simplifies what MTO is, where MTO is headed, and what we are actually hoping for this to become eventually in the future. So this is actually a really nice article here that you can go and have a look into as well. On the community side as well, sorry, we have the development stages, which again, you can go and into details on each of them, and as well community side here where you can actually join the community. So let me just go up again and keep going down. You can directly go and buy MTO. We are directing into Uniswap. The reason for that is because our core principle is decentralization. It is currently a centralized project that is being developed by a centralized company. However, the core principle of our project is decentralization. So that's what we always advise people to go and buy from, which is Uniswap currently. We do understand that the gas fees on the Ethereum network are quite high. That's why we have listed on 3 different centralized exchanges, and we will be listing in more in the future. However, we are also working on a bridge that is still being finalizing the building and the testing, because we need to make sure that the bridge is going to be safe and sound before we actually get it to release to the public. We don't want anything weird to happen, because a mistake with the bridge could cause the whole project to sink, and we need to be extremely careful with that. So just to point out on that case, that remember, this is a decentralized project, and we require, that's the core of the project, basically. You can also build with us, which again is going to take you to GitHub, and the explainer video, which is the main video that will be on YouTube, and you can actually, we will actually be updating it later on as well. So you can have a lot more information in here. It will tell you the current stage of development straight away, and you can go and check it out. What stage is that and what does that mean? And that basically will already tell you, as soon as you open the page, where are we at and where are we headed. So let's just jump into the next part of the website, which is the missing piece for mass adoption of crypto payments. So why MTO? Basically, the reason for this is we believe that the idea of decentralization is giving the power back to the people, for you to decide who you want to hold your money to, or where you want to hold your money, or how you want to pay with it. Currently, unfortunately, you cannot do that. You can decide who you want to give your money to, but not where are you going to hold it in general. And the fact that you are not, by putting your funds in a bank, you are not actually having your money in your hands, and you cannot actually, you do not actually own your money when you put it in the bank, then that's something that we really believe is something that should change. And not only us, everybody in the crypto space. However, with the lack of real payments and consumer protection that there is right now in the crypto space, it is diverting people to use, again, centralized systems for that. Because of course, it would be better for you to go and pay someone knowing that a company that has a name will be holding your funds. And that's the reason why a lot of people is using cryptocurrencies, using third parties. But we are reverting basically back to where we start from, which is centralized entities that are managing your funds. In this case, it's cryptocurrencies rather than fiat, but it's basically the same back again. So back to square one. What we are trying to build here is we are trying to build this system that is going to allow you to have the peace of mind for you to be able to build and to buy something and to purchase services and goods, but at the same time on a fully decentralized system that will allow you to have consumer protection. So you will feel protected, but you don't have to rely on anybody. And most importantly, it will actually make true the statement of trustless transactions, because you don't have to trust anybody. Their transactions will happen there, nobody will have access to them, and nobody will be able to actually take your money out of that. Another really important thing is the real world payments, because we do understand that right now there are a lot of other projects out there that are trying to bring crypto payments to mass adoption. However, majority of them are actually looking to go the extra mile, to step up on that game and bring, I don't know, payments using wallets, and you have to download nodes to be able to hold their tokens and these kind of things, which makes the whole payment system extremely complicated. And the majority of people, the normal people out there, will not, we believe that they are not going to be going back or learning something new just to be able to use a payment, which is extremely volatile, to give you an example. However, what we're trying to do is to bring the crypto payment into the current ecosystem and the current infrastructure that exists already in the world. And that's the reason why we want to have point of sales payment terminal connected to the coming MEO blockchain. Of course, there is going to be there is going to be an API that is going to be installed into the POS terminals, and the merchants have to agree into joining to have that kind of payment. But that will also make it a lot easier for people and for merchants to come together and use the system as well. Also want to remember that once we have the MEO blockchain, every kind of cryptocurrency out there can be used to purchase goods and services through our system. So you can have a wrapped Bitcoin on the MEO blockchain and be able to make a payment on Bitcoin, on Ethereum, USDT, and so on, so forth. So to give you an example, on the example of USDT, you can actually have a stable coin that you will be able to actually purchase things. So you have your funds in there. It is decentralized. Nobody's owning them. Nobody's holding them for you. You are protected when making a purchase, but you are also protected from the volatility of the crypto market because you are on a stable coin. But at the same time, you as a token holder, which is what you need to know, is the fact that every time someone will make a purchase, there will be a gas fee, which is going to be minuscule because we need to be competitive and we need to make sure that a lot of people will want to actually use our system. But every time someone makes a transaction, there will be a gas fee. And then if they decide to go for the consumer protection, there will be another fee. And that's going to basically sustain the whole merchant token ecosystem. I'm actually talking about it because there's a lot of questions I have seen about it in the Telegram group as well. So the merchant protocol is the first blockchain project that introduces consumer protection concept for the traditional card payment industry to any blockchain with support for smart contracts. The missing piece and true enable of mainstream goal mass adoption of crypto payments for the consumer perspective. And I really wanted to read this out because this kind of like summarize what MTO is about and how is it gonna work. So the use cases, as I said before, I basically kind of like explain them. You can go into more detail. These are not bringing into details, but you can see here DeFi consumer protection, DeFi dispute management, DeFi chargeback management, DeFi point of sale, which is what we discussed before, the crypto wallet for merchant token, and DeFi SDKs, which are basically smart contracts into our blockchain as well. Let's jump into the team. There is a lot of faces that I hope you know already, which is John Cavebring, Axel, myself, and John Walsh actually was present in the Q&A last year on my YouTube channel, but he's our chief of compliance, basically. He is the one that deals with all the laws and all these kind of things, and he's a board member of the North Carolina Blockchain Initiative. John works with matters related to counterterrorism as well, AML, and illicit money activities as well. So this is a very, very important person, and he's someone that really, really brings value to the team as well and the project. Also, a new face that you might see is Robert Sandberg. Robert Sandberg is basically the vice president of the MTO Foundation, and he's now become the CEO of HIPS. So if you have noticed, last year we shared a post on Twitter where we shared that we will be focusing more into MTO, and MTO will become its own entity. And this is basically what he was leading into. So basically, John has moved, he's not the CEO of HIPS anymore, but he's still part of HIPS. He is the acting CTO of HIPS, which means that he still deals with the development, which is basically what he loves to do. And he is still basically on the board of HIPS as well, which basically gives him power over HIPS as well at the same time. And he is, of course, the CEO of MTO, which is extremely important for us as well to have him, because again, he is the brain and the heart of the whole project basically at the moment. Also, we have Axel Arvidsson, which is our COO and the person who oversees the day-to-day administrative and operational functions of HIPS and of MTO. So again, guys, I'm very, very, very busy. And of course, I think you know me as well here. Let's just jump into something again I wanted to discuss, because I know I throw a bomb out there, which is the MTO Foundation. And some of you will be asking why there is, and why are we actually joining a foundation, why created a foundation. And it's because creating a company, an MTO cannot be a company, because it goes against our ethos, which is decentralization itself. And it's giving back the power to the people, so we cannot have we cannot have a company behind MTO and controlling what MTO is, and thus we need it to be a foundation, because it really describes what we're doing for MTO, and it's just not giving power to anybody to control MTO, but instead it's just kind of like something that allow us to build the idea of the consumer protection for blockchain, and it's going to give that power to the token holders and to the people who is going to actually be using and benefiting from MTO itself. Jumping into the roadmap, really important to see here is we are building, not hyping. Hyping will come later on, and it will come, we hope, on its own, but we will of course do everything we can to make it, to hype it when the time comes. The path to the real world decentralization crypto payment framework, step by step. We have the tier stage, which was basically the pre-MVP stage. We are currently on the Unveil, which is basically the MVP release with minimum functionalities. You can actually go and check it and test it for yourself. Then we will end up into Veil later on this year, which is the early alpha, which comes with the Unveil, which is the merchant payment gateway with basic support for external wallets, and an early alpha version of the merchant wallet, which if you haven't seen, there is another live stream, the previous from here, that you can actually go and look at the video of the merchant wallet, and you can actually see at what stage we are on already. Then we will end up into the next stage, which is the Baldur stage, which is an early alpha with extended functionality in merchant protocol, gateway and merchant wallet as well, with the functionality to auto swap MTO for consumer protection, built-in dispute in the merchant wallet as well. So this is really important here. So basically the difference between these two stages, because as you can see here, there is still an early alpha, is the fact that you will be able to auto swap your tokens or your fiat into MTO automatically when you want to buy the consumer protection, when you want to get the consumer protection when you're making a purchase. And as another part as well, really important, is that there will be already the dispute in the merchant wallet. So you, by making a payment through the merchant wallet, you will also already be able to have that consumer protection and generate a dispute as well. Then in next year, we will have the Freak stage, which is a temporary test network, or MEO, supporting an intense period of public testing ahead of the launch of the first version of the merchant mainnet, which is going to be Odin, and then enable community participation in testing of wallets and nodes under real world conditions. And this is something extremely important that I want to point out, because everything that we're building right now, it has a logic sound, everything works in the labs, and but we need to make sure that that works in the real world. And that's the reason why we expect it to have such a long gap in between, because we need to do testing and testing and testing and make sure that it works before we actually release it to the final public. Just bear in mind that we will be already having here transactions, real transactions, on-time transactions. So these are something that you will be actually able to use it, and we will be expanding our merchants in the meantime with the knowledge that this is a temporary test network and we are basically on a beta test. So as long as the merchants agree on that and the consumers agree on that, but this is going to be the fundamental part of the building of this project, because this is what is going to show us can we actually do what we want to do, and it actually works on the real world. That is really, really important as well. Then the next stage is going to be the third stage, which is going to be a releasing of the candidates of the mainnet, which is the merchant and the merchant ecosystem. So sneak preview of finished mainnet for public testing and use. So again, this is going to be on the next year, because again, we expect that year to be extremely busy with testing and improvements. And then on the same year, we expect to release the full product altogether. So this is basically kind of like the tour is kind of like the last stage of the testings, and it will be evolving more and more into what the final product and the final ecosystem will be as well. For the tokenomics, you already know what the tokenomics are, but just to remind you that we are using merchant token, which is MTO, which is an ERC20 token that lives on the Ethereum network and is a wrap basically version of MEO, which is not yet available, but will be available once we launch the blockchain. And as you can see here, it is exchangeable or swappable one-on-one for MEO via a bridge. You can also buy, as we discussed before, MTO on the following exchanges, and you can join the MTO community here. You can also stay updated with your email here, and we will be basically sending you updates as soon as we have them for the project itself. You can go and check all the other details here. And basically something really important I want you to have a look at is into this information. Go and have a read into what everything is. Most importantly, I would advise you, if you're not like a technical person, you can go into consumer protection here and real world crypto payment, because it's going to give you a really vision of what we are actually aiming to do. But there is a lot of information to go to, and there is a lot of information that will be coming in the next few weeks, because there's a lot of technical stuff as well that just will be coming as we move along with the development of the project and as we move along all together. On this note, guys, I want to close the video today. Again, I just want to keep them as short as possible so that people will be actually willing to watch them until the end, and these videos will get promoted and we will reach even more people altogether. So thank you so much for joining here, and I really want to thank you all for your patience on the website as well, and I hope that you will enjoy the website. Thank you so much and have a good day.